I'm Cher Kaufmann. I'm international artist and author of the Artful Mandala coloring book and the Ancient Alchemy coloring book, and also Mandalas and More, a meditative drawing and coloring book for mind, body, and spirit. And there's something I want to talk to you today that's very special about this book, which is about the big picture. This is what it looks like in the book. These pages here will each have their own little lesson that is something that we learn from meditative drawing and meditative coloring through our active observation, and through the process that we are learning, we can take those little bits and we can apply them to other places in our life. And that's what makes it so special. It's that it's not just drawing. That's one of the most important things that you can get out of meditative drawing and meditative coloring and any art process, is it is never just that one thing. So I thought I would talk to you about just one of these pages that's in this book. And today this one is Learn to Admire and Appreciate. And there's a few things that I like to tell students about when you're first learning to admire and appreciate. It's about learning how to admire and appreciate your own work. I can't tell you how many times that I've had students put down their own work or look at the person next to them and begin immediately to compare. Or they'll compare a line that I drew to a line that they drew. There's a very different way of comparison when you are learning about how to do something and when you are learning about how to rate yourself. And that's where it becomes not so fun. So this is a very important message that I want to sink in a little deeper. This is about truly the big picture. So one of the things that I really love to listen for, not just see, but to listen for when I'm teaching classes, is what I call the yummy sound. And it actually comes from a movie that used the sounds to make a distinction between what they were seen as appreciation for characters. So this is what I mean by the yummy sound. When we taste something that's yummy, when we eat something that has a pleasing flavor, we make a sound. Whether it's or ooh or oh, you've got to try this. Whatever it is, there's an enthusiasm that leaves us in through a sound vibration. And the same thing happens when we look at our work and we hit that moment of awe and we realize that we just did something. And there'll be this sound that kind of emerges where we realize we just drew something that's like, oh, I just did that. And so that's a yummy sound. That means that something you just did is delicious. And then that's a very important aspect, because when you're looking at something as it's growing, as it's developing, and you begin to see it as a development, as a process, you begin to appreciate it more. So here's one of the things that I encourage all of my students, is that if you have a smartphone, or if you have a phone that can at least give you imagery or pictures, or if you have someone that can take pictures for you, or if it's a regular camera, however you want to do it, to take pictures of your work, of your drawings, of your colorings in process. Because it is amazing to see when you look through the camera's lens, when you look at an image and you are able to separate yourself from that image just for a split second and see it as a totality. It's amazing how many people will look at that picture, that piece of work, and just simply say, oh, and that's a yummy sound. That means something delicious just happened, even in that split second, that you began to appreciate something you did. So there's something to be said about appreciating one's own work. It means that you are beginning to look at yourself differently too. There is a quote that most people know that is interpreted slightly differently than the way that I would like to teach you. It's the journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath one's feet. Now that's often translated into a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. But actually, a truer translation is begins beneath one's feet. And the change in those words is actually a very important distinction. It means that it really truly begins with you. It begins right where you are. The first step is forward momentum. That's creativity. That's something that's beginning to change. But it has to start with you in that decision to take that first step. And that moment that you begin to draw and begin to appreciate the things that you are doing, the imagery that you're creating, the colors that you're putting down, there's something that changes. And something that is enough that can actually change for you in the big picture. So, if you get a chance and you would like to read more, check out Mandalas and More. Look up the pages for the big picture. I promise you, it's more than what you're thinking. It's never just drawing. I'm Cher Kaufmann from the Drawing Desk. May you find more inspiration in your day.